the water's getting into this phone pretty badly now. On and off. I'm getting blurry and hazy. It doesn't matter. I'm honing in, zeroing in on one of the great mysteries of existence. I'm getting closer. It's the mystery of why do rappers alter the spelling of perfectly good words? I've had my theories rumbling around in my head from time to time, but I'm getting close to confirmation. And courtesy of someone called Candace Owens, or Candace Owen. I haven't actually. Now, I would never have even found out who that woman is, but I know someone who likes her. And so stuff from her comes across my desk via texts. So whatever comes to me via texts, I talk about. This YouTube channel is not a reflection of the sorts of things that in ordinary circumstances I would talk about. It'd be an easy mistake to make, to say, gee, Charlie likes to talk about Candace Owens a lot, or whatever her name is, Candace Owen, and about 10 other things that I talk about a lot, but it's just whatever comes to me, and, I chat about that. I've got nothing to talk about at all. Anyway, I'm getting closer to working out why rappers and would-be rappers and wannabe rappers alter the spelling of perfectly good words. And one that springs to mind is weekend. I've got a perfectly lovely weekend coming up, and it's a W-E-E-K-E-N-D. And the reason for that, the reason it's spelt like that, is because when you say it like this: weekend. But African Americans, they spell it W-E-E-K-N-D. And still pronounce it as weekend. Now this is one of the great mysteries of existence. Why wouldn't you put that extra E in there? Because it's begging for it. Look, I know there's a lot of English words that, when you look at them, they aren't pronounced the way they look. Okay. Yeah, all right, that's a really good point. I haven't got a good answer for that one. Let's just ignore that. This doesn't have to make sense. This YouTube channel, it doesn't have to make sense. It's for another episode to discover why the English don't make sense. But this episode is about why rappers don't make sense. All right, so we can do one then the other. All right. So this one is why rappers don't make sense. I've got a perfectly good weekend coming up, because that's how I spell it. I dropped the E. So imagine if they dropped the other two E's. Weekend. Hey babe, I want to come out on the weekend. Slap. I only want to take you out on the weekend. That reminds me of God. Yahweh. In ancient texts, it is spelt, I think, W-H-W-H. No. Y-H-W-H. That's all we've got. That's the only evidence we've got, pardon my squeaky chair, of how Yahweh is pronounced. Because what is not well known is that the ancient Jews were rappers, and before them, came a whole another race, the Babylonians, and they had a god called Yahu Wahu, you know, and it was YAHOOWAHOO. Now, back in those days, and then the Jews came along and they said, we're not going to do vowels, you know. We're not doing vowels. That will make us we're not aligning ourselves to Babylonians. They're bastards, you know. So we refuse to do Babylonian vowels, you know. And we refuse to have hanging gardens, and we refuse to have anyone in our society with a double Z in their name, and we refuse to have really tall buildings that go up into the sky through the clouds, and we refuse to be utter bastards, you know. So we're not going to be Babylonians. We're going to be Jews. Now what they did, they just dropped the vowels. That's our protest, you know. Jew rights, you know. So what they did, they just start spelling it YHWH, you know. And somewhere along the line, you know, you can check that yourself. Google it. You know, I'm not making it up. Not most of it anyway. But you Google that bit, YHWH. That is that's all we've got. We have no evidence that Yahweh once upon a time was called Yahweh. It could just as easily have been Yahu Wahu. Absolutely. It could even have been spelled YAHUWAHU. Why would you think that it has to be YAHWAHEH or something, or however they spell it these days? Why would you think that it has to be that? You know, it could be Yoo-hoo Woohoo. I love you, Yoo-hoo Woohoo. You know, I love, yeah. Forgive me, Yoo-hoo Woohoo, for I have sinned. It's been like yesterday, you know, since I made my last confession, when I was really disrespectful, you know, to Jesus. You know, Jesus? Yeah, JSS. You know? And I'm sorry for calling you Yahoo Wahoo when I know you're Yahweh Ha-Hey, or whatever, you know what I mean? All that sort of stuff. Anyway, this is the problem with reading ancient script, because you don't have the vowels. Vowels were just assumed. It was just common knowledge how things were pronounced. At the start of writing, the idea was just to convey the words, but it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary to literally sound out every single bit. You know, you just wanted to say, hey, I want to talk about God. All right, YHWH. Everyone knows it's pronounced Yahu Wahu. So just put YHWH. That's all right, you know. And what about vowels? You know, no, don't put any of them there. Don't need any of them. Why not? You know, we haven't invented them yet. That's a really good idea. That's a really good answer. Yeah, all right. YHWH. But what about if in, 2.5 thousand years from now, people start calling it something else other than Yahuwahoo, you know? They might call it something stupid like Yahweh. Oh, come on, you know. Anyway, the world's going to end, by, naught. BC. What's BC? Shut up. Is there a naught? We haven't invented that either. Oh, God, have we invented anything? Oh, I've got some hanging gardens, really tall towers, and great leaders with a double Z in their names, and we are slaving bastards, we love, our favourite, we like Jews as our slaves. They make good slaves, and that Cyrus the Great, he's an absolute bastard. Anyway, Look, it's a really valid point, I think, because that is actually factual. The dropping of the vowels. There were vowels, you see, and then they got uninvented and then invented later, you know. And the Babylonians invented them, and then the Jews uninvented them. This is why you need to be in control of the spelling. You know? Because, oh, look, take the Jews, for example. You know, what are we looking at? You know? Back in their time, we've got two superpowers, absolute superpowers. The America and China of their times. And that's Babylon and Egypt, you know, just massive superpowers. China on steroids, you know, that was Egypt. They're both islands. Egypt's a bit of an island when you look at it, back in those times, surrounded by deserts and all sorts of crap, you know, and so's China. And Babylon, you know, that's a bit of an America. Huge superpowers for their times. And you've got this little powerless sort of shepherd race in between them. And these two superpowers are sharing the Jews, you know, taking turns at enslaving them. You know, roll the dice, you know. I think, you know, the word for dice over in those lands was Azar, you know. I've got that on good authority because, you know, that's my real name. You know, my name's Charlie Azar because I'm a risk taker, and it's a game of dice, you know, and you spin the dice and it's called Azar, and that's where we've got our word hazard, you know, from, you know, the Dukes of Hazzard, you know, and danger, you know. Anyway, so the Egyptians, and this is factual, used to roll the dice, you know. Who's going to have the Jews this month, you know? My turn for the Jews, you know. And they'd be the slaves of the Egyptians for a while. They'd be the slaves of the Babylonians for a while. And all the time, what the Egyptians and the Babylonians didn't know is that secretly the Jews were changing the spelling of all the words in the world and taking all the vowels out, you know. And you know, you would think back then, you know, powerless, stupid shepherd race. Not stupid, really smart. Huh? If you were back then, you'd say Egypt, huge deal. Babylon, huge deal. Yeah. Jews, good for slaves, good for slavery. You know, not much good for anything else. But what the slaves did is they had a secret weapon. It's like the nuclear warhead of its time. Change the language, you know, write the books. Now, so Egypt, you know, it's got pyramids and stuff and great big kings and Sphinx and all this sort of stuff, you know, and the Babylonians got all these chariots and things, you know, and all these other things and hanging gardens and stuff, and the Jews have got nothing except sheep and a pencil or a quill. And the power of the pen, you see. And what happened was the Jews were just rioting in the beginning. Because in the beginning, the Jews were slaves, you know. The Jews kind of ran away from Iraq. Oh, everybody's treating us not very nice. And, you know, over to Egypt. Oh, we're going to live here. Oh, look at that place. That place looks really nice. It looks really fertile, you know. What's that called? It's called Canaan. Oh, that's ours. No, it's not. It's ours. No, we want it. No, it's ours. We're Canaanites, you know. No, we want it though. It's ours. How do you know it's? You can't say it's yours. Yes, I can. Get the pen out. You know, God promised us that. That's ours. It's written. You know, and then the Egyptians came down and said, "No, rack off, Abraham." You know. And then they all rack, you know, they were sent out in the desert, blah, blah, blah. But long and short of it is they finally ended up there. Oh, thank you, God, you know. Milk and honey, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so, but when they got there, they said, all right, now we've got to sort out these Egyptians and sort out these Babylonians. All right, we'll write the book. You know, they're not writing... Egyptians, they're writing in the old way, you know. We're going to change the writing. And the Babylonians, they're writing in a certain way. We are going to write truth, and the truth is we are the superpower, and that mob and that mob, they're not, so they did that, and they wrote a really big book, and now look at us now. Yeah, Israel has got nuclear weapons, and I don't think Babylon has. I don't think Babylon's even there, and Egypt, well, the Egypt I remember, back then, that's not there either. The Egypt we got is a different Egypt. They can't even speak Egyptian. Do you know the Egyptians couldn't even read Egyptian? Now, can you call yourself an Egyptian, Yeah, they needed the French and the English to go over there and work out how to read all the stuff on the tombs. That's how far down things can go if you don't write the book. So the moral of the story, kids, is write the book and write it your way. And that's what the Jews did. And look at them now. They're winning, So, we've got history repeats. Dong, 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 dong. History never repeats. Well, yes, it does, I tell myself before I go to sleep. So, what has happened is you've got the new Babylonians, which is the English, and now you've got the new slaves on the block, and that's the African Americans, but they're coming good too. And their secret weapon is, they've been reading the Bible, and I think they know that Yahweh was once called Yahuwah. Now, the best way to stuff up everybody, those bastards who kicked you out of I think that's where Abraham came from in Iraq, the best way to... Were they actually Babylonians, maybe, Anyway, they don't come from Israel. They come from Yeah, that's too complicated for me. All right, They went across to Canaan, and that's where they belong. Get out, Canaanites, you trespassers. Eviction notice, Anyway, so what happens there is then they all went to Ethiopia. Oh, that's a whole other story, Then you've got African Americans, and we've got, history repeats. And what happens is, you can see it's all over the place. There are none so blind who refuse to see, but I see from my shed. I can see what's happening. I'm on to you, African Americans. I know what you're doing. They're taking letters out. They're taking vowels out. Don't let them. But there's a rapper. It's the rappers. The rappers are the new Jews. And so what they're doing is they're just taking the vowels out one at a time so we don't notice. So there's a rapper, for example, called Weekend, but it's pronounced weakened. See, they're weakening our language, So that's great danger, As soon as you lose your language, you lose you, So it's an Illuminati plot, Anyway, what's happening is Weekend, he's just taking the one E out, and you mark my words, he'll take those other two E's out soon, and soon everyone will forget what the Weekend is. It's a plot, and they'll start calling it the Weekend, and then it'll be the Weekend, And you will be asking girls out, saying, would you like to take in a mood? You'll start speaking differently. Would you look to go to the movies? Would you like to go to the movies? You see it all the time. I've seen it before. It's actually spreading. You know, I've seen, thanks, THX. Say no more. You know, there's others. I can't remember. But when people text me sometimes, it's missing the vowels. You know, words like thanks. That means thanks, you know. But what's going to happen is they're damaging our language, and we're going to be Babylon. And the rappers are writing all the words. They go on and on and on. They're writing, busy scribbling. Do you know those rappers? They bang on and on and on and on and on, and they never stop. They're a lot like me. The way I just talk and 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 talk. You wouldn't believe this, but rappers, I've got nothing on rappers. They never stop and go through all their lyrics. It's a communist plot. What's happening is you'll see a strange absence of vowels right through their lyrics. You would be forgiven for thinking that you had found yourself in the old Yugoslavia. You know, there's such an absence of vowels. They're in on it too. There's it's an Illuminati plot, you know, and they're slowly changing the language, you know. So that's something to watch out for. And what I think, and I think someone in the African American context is onto it too. She's a traitor. You know? She is like a Jew who's gone over to the Arabs. She is saying, put the vowels back. Her name is Candace Owens, and she has come to my attention. And what's happened is she's saying, put the vowels back in. Now, she doesn't know what's going on, you see. She's saying, I don't understand this. Why are you taking the vowels out of all the words? I got a song through from somebody just before, from a band called Labyrinth. But you know how it was spelled? Labrinth. Even the wise are not safe. I don't know how I can warn you any more clearly than all of this. Labyrinth. You know? They're just going to start disappearing. Anyway, this Candace Owens is onto it. And what she has said, she said, African Americans, you need to fit in. You know, you're never going to get a job in America if you're going to speak this crappy version of English. You know, the only jobs you will qualify for are rapping and complaining. You know, because that's the language of rapping and complaining. You know, you can be a celebrity or a rapper, but you'll never get a job as a speechwriter, for example, or anything like that. And if you put out a novel, no one will understand it, you know. And then, but she's getting a lot of backlash because a lot of people are saying, but Candace, we haven't briefed you because you haven't been initiated. You know, there's a secret sign of people in the know, and it goes like this. And we say, yo, you know, what's up? Listen up. And we say all those sorts of things. We are in the know. We are the new Jews. And what we're doing there is, it's a secret club. And you're not in it, Candace, because you're on the, you know, you're like the Jews of old who were traitors and went over to the Egyptians and the bloody Babylonians or whoever they were. And you're like them. You're hanging with white people. You married one, didn't you? That's why we don't trust you. So we can't tell you the secret. But we're taking all the vowels. We're changing the language, and very soon we will have a completely new language, and we will write the future. We will write the past, We will write the present and we'll write the future. You say we can't get a job in America if we speak crap? Well, America will be the crap, you know, and that'll be the new order. And if you speak with proper grammar and all that sort of stuff, you won't get a job in the new, crap version of America. You will lose, Candace, with all your, your proper speaking, It's the opposite, People in Egypt said, don't be a Jew. Don't be a Jew. You'll never get a job in Egypt. And then what did the Jews do? They wrote a story. And they said that, Moses ended up like best mates with the Pharaoh. Yeah? That didn't happen. A Pharaoh didn't become like best mates with a Jew slave. Didn't happen. But they wrote it, that it happened. And not only that, he came out on top. QED. And how do we know that? Because it is written. So we will be writing the future and the past. Rap. Join the dots, Candace. What is the most popular art form in the world at present? Rap. What is the most popular method of communication? Texting and social media. Shorthand all over the place. English is dead. It's gone. You say, you counsel us African Americans to speak like the English? Otherwise you won't get a job in America? I counsel you, Candace. There will be no America. There'll be a new Babylon. That'll do, because I think that's got a ring to it. Maybe they could even call that, the new Babylon. So maybe Candace is out of step. End of episode, but I've given you something to think